Howdy all, welcome to Adventures of Kendall. And today's adventure will take us to the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. This is going to be a fun adventure, so let's get going. Described as the most beautiful and certainly the most photographed bridge in the world, the Golden Gate Bridge spans the Golden Gate here in San Francisco. The Golden Gate is a strait on the west coast of North America that connects San Francisco Bay to the Pacific Ocean. The Golden Gate Bridge is one of the most internationally recognized icons in the world. Now, before the bridge was built, the only practical short route for what is now Marin County to San Francisco was by boat across a section of San Francisco Bay. Ferry service across the bay started as early as 1820 with regular scheduled ferry services by the 1840s. Despite being the largest city still primarily using ferry boats, many citizens of San Francisco expressed interest in a bridge being built. Because it did not have a permanent link to communities around the bay, its growth rate was slower than the national average. Many experts said that building across the 6,700-foot-long strait couldn't be done due to the deep water and swift, swirling currents. Dense fog along with the frequent ferocious winds would make construction near to impossible. Although the idea to cross the strait wasn't new, it was in 1916 that the idea of building a bridge really took hold. A proposal was put into the San Francisco Bulletin by former engineering student James Wilkins. The San Francisco city engineer estimated the cost at $100 million or $2.8 billion in 2023 money and considered it impractical at the time. He asked bridge engineers if it could be built for less. One engineer that stepped forward to the challenge was Joseph Strauss, an ambitious engineer and poet who, for his graduate thesis, designed a 55-mile-long railroad bridge across the Bering Strait. At that time, he had completed some 400 drawbridges that were built inland and not on the scale as the massive bridge needed. Strauss spent more than a decade building support to build this bridge. Although there was plenty of enthusiasm to build it, there were many who did not support the idea. Some were concerned about the increased traffic. The ferry companies would lose revenue due to a reduced ridership, and the U.S. Navy was concerned that a ship collision or sabotage to the bridge would block the entrance to one of its major harbors. However, one of Strauss's biggest allies was the fledgling automobile business, which supported the bridge and necessary roads to help increase the demand for automobiles. The name of the Golden Gate Bridge is credited to M.M. O'Shaughnessy, the city engineer of San Francisco. The name became official when the Golden Gate Bridge and Highway District Act was passed by California legislation in 1923. San Francisco and most of the counties along the north coast of California joined the district, with the exception of Humboldt County, whose residents were concerned with the increased traffic the bridge would create. In 1921, Strauss submitted a design for a bridge that crossed the Golden Gate Strait. It was a hybrid suspension span supported by each end by cantilever trusses. Strauss praised it that it could be built for $17 million or $476 million in 2023 money. However, consulting engineers Leon S. Mosev and O.H. Amman had persuaded Strauss to accept the more graceful all-suspension design that we see today, using advances in metallurgy and bridge design. A measure was passed to allow in the insurance of $35 million in bonds to pay for the project in November 1930, However, the Bridge and Highway District struggled to find a backer amid the difficulties of the Great Depression. Desperate for funding, Strauss personally sought help from Amandio Gianni, president of Bank of America. He provided a crucial boost by agreeing to pay $6 million in bonds in 1932. Construction commenced on January 5, 1933, in the midst of the Great Depression. This included excavating 3.25 million cubic feet of dirt to establish the bridge's 12-story tall anchorages. The crew consisted of virtually anyone capable of withstanding the physical rigors of the job. This includes out-of-work cab drivers, farmers, clerks, all of them lined up for the chance to earn steady wages as iron workers and cement mixers for construction. Due to the immense challenge of building what would be the first bridge support in the open ocean, a 1,100-foot trestle extended off the San Francisco side for divers to plunge 90 feet through the strong currents to blast away rock and remove detonation debris. Unfortunately, this trestle was damaged when a ship struck it in August 1933. This trestle was later damaged again during a powerful storm. This set the construction back 5 months. The bridge piers were built with structures called a caisson or a cofferdam. A caisson is a large hollow tube that is lowered into the water until it hits rock bottom. It is pressurized to keep the water out. This pressurization can lead to workers gaining caisson disease if the proper protocols aren't followed. Eventually, the caissons were filled with concrete. Now, the next phase of construction was the building of the 746-foot tall towers. These towers were constructed by lifting prefabricated steel sections into place. A temporary support for cranes, or climbing derrick, was built between the two legs of each tower, and the cranes on the platform lifted sections of the tower into place at that level. This process was repeated as the platform and its crane were raised up the growing tower. The 44,000-ton steel for each tower was manufactured by Bethlehem Steel in Pennsylvania and was shipped through the Panama Canal to the San Francisco Bay. With these towers rising higher than a 60-story building, this was not a place for a person with a fear of heights to be working at. With the towers completed in 1935, New Jersey-based John A. Roebling's Sons Company were tasked to handle the on-site construction of the suspension cables. The Roebling engineers, who also worked on the Brooklyn Bridge and the George Washington Bridge, mastered that technique in which individual steel wires were banded together in spools and carried across the length of the bridge on spinning wheels. Given a year to complete the task, they managed to finish it in over 6 months, having spun 25,000 individual wires into each 7,600-foot long cable. Now, the Golden Gate Bridge was a pioneering project for protecting workers. This included requiring the bridge builders to wear hard hats and installing the first safety net. Although 11 people died during the bridge's construction, the use of the movable safety net underneath the floor of the bridge saved 19 people. These 19 became known as the Halfway to Hell Club. One interesting aspect about the bridge is the color. Irving F. Morrow, who conceptualized the Art Deco towers, decided on a paint color he dubbed International Orange. This color would become a central trademark of the Golden Gate Bridge. The construction of the roadway was completed in April 1937, and the bridge was officially opened to pedestrians on May 27th. As part of the festivities, Strauss dedicated a poem that he written titled, "A Mighty Task is Done." The following day, President Franklin D. Roosevelt announced that the bridge was open to cars and the rest of the world via a White House telegraph. Over the years, that Golden Gate withstood the fog, the winds, and even earthquakes, such as the 1989 Loma Prieta earthquake. On the bridge's 50th anniversary, in May 1987, the Golden Gate Bridge flattened by 7 feet under the weight of 300,000 pedestrians. Today, the Golden Gate Bridge is a critical link between San Francisco and Marin County, with a 1.7-mile span that carries 112,000 cars every day. It is also a great landmark to check out when you're in the San Francisco area. On the San Francisco side, there's a little visitor center and gift shop where visitors can learn more about this unique California landmark. These interactive exhibits are quite fun, but it's more amazing to walk on the bridge itself. And that was the story of the Golden Gate Bridge. Like, comment, and subscribe to see future content. And that was Adventures with Kendall. See you later, folks, and may your gifts bless the world.